Anthony up here. We got some members of the Benjamin Russell soccer team. This soccer team is expected to do big things this year, Scott, as we talked about. And, I hate to put the bar high, but they placed the bar on themselves. And they feel like they've got an outstanding opportunity to go all the way and win the whole thing. And there's a lot of excitement around this team. So we'll have Coach Till up here, and we'll have a couple of players, Chase Burton and Cole Grogan, to talk about this upcoming season, which is just around the corner. Again, the whole varsity team's up here tonight. And, again, we would love to have your team highlighted up here. We have highlighted so many different youth league teams up here, high school teams, middle school teams, Scott. But we're excited about the show tonight.
Absolutely. And also, I know we lately we've tended to have a lot of Benjamin Russell people on the show, but I just want to let you guys know we can cover anybody else. If you're a team out there, whether it be on Coosa, Horseshoe Bend, Real Town, Dable, anybody, just let us know. We're doing our best to book some of you guys, but hopefully we'll have one of our better shows tonight. I'm really excited to talk about Austin and what they have going on.
All you got to do is contact us through our Sports Blitz website and or Twitter, Facebook. It's Sports with a Z. Very easy. You can message us if you'd like to have your team up here at JR Sports Bar and Grill on a Tuesday night. We would love to have them up here because that's what this whole hour is for. Is we want to focus on as many youth league and middle school and high school teams as we possibly can, and individuals. And that's gymnastics, softballs, tennis, whatever sport it is out there. We've had martial arts up here before, and anything that you feel like is worthy of attention, this is what this show's for. So give us a call. We have phone lines open, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. And we're going to go ahead and take our first break here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. When we come back, you'll have Austin Till up here, and you guys will talk for a minute, and then we'll have Cole Grogan and Chase Burton up here to talk with you, Scott, about this year's soccer schedule, as Benjamin Russell has high expectations going into the season.
Absolutely. It should be a great segment, and that'll go ahead and take us up to our next break. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show live here on location at JR Sports Bar and Grill right after this.
Six 750-5950 or visit our website, leemarketing.net. Come back to y'all in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup show, live here on location in beautiful downtown Alexander City. I'm your host, Scott Hardy, and right now we want to welcome in a very special guest, Coach Austin Till, the head soccer coach for the Benjamin Russell Wildcats. Austin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
Yeah, well, before we dive into this year's season, I want to get your thoughts on last year, give a little recap of how you guys did and how you finished up in the playoffs.
Well, we didn't finish up how we wanted it. Of course, we got put out the first round by actually the state champs for last year, Homewood High School. Coach Sean Barad from there actually left there and went to Birmingham Southern, but he always does a tremendous job up there. And it was also a very experienced team. What I'm looking for this year is we're very experienced coming into this season. Of course, I have 5 seniors returning from last year or coming up this year, and then also my junior class, who's about 12 guys who've always started since their freshman year. So it's a very experienced team coming up this year. And then last year, we lost a lot of leadership, which I feel like this year Sam and Scott's already came into that role and taken over that. We lose Mike Mann from the right back, and that's something that I'm been testing out through practice, trying to figure out how we're going to run the defense, who's going to play where, and things like that. But like I said, experience is the biggest thing on this.
Yeah, and so you're talking about the experience, and while you do have a young team, experience-wise, you have a very experienced team. Have Sam and Scott, who, as you said, be the senior captains for this year's team, but there are also some younger guys like Cole Grogan, and we'll speak with Chase Burton here in a little while, just some guys that necessarily aren't seniors but expected to have big roles. So can you talk about some of your guys on the offensive side, I guess, per se, that you're looking to be your main goal scorers?
Yes, we're returning our 3 top goal scorers, Grant Hudson, Cole Grogan, and Philip Speaks this year. Cole actually started as an 8th grader 2 years back, and this is his 3rd year playing on varsity. He's just a sophomore, so that's another experience. Grant started his freshman year, and he's played all 3 years, and Phillips the same way. He actually started his sophomore year. He did a little club his freshman year, but this is his 2nd year under his belt. And then also, you got Franklin Staples playing midfield, Matt Smith playing midfield, Eddie Naranjo, who's actually played 8th grader last year, started as an 8th grader, and he's coming back for his 2nd year. So, like I said, it's experience and it's also chemistry. These guys have been playing together. They also play every Sunday and things like that on the weekends just to have pickup games and just develop that chemistry and what you need for soccer.
Yeah, and you're speaking about chemistry and leadership, and I know you guys have had a rigorous off-season program. I know the guys really they played a lot together. In the off-season, they've gotten together. I know we talked to Sam and Scott last week, and they were actually holding, or 2 weeks ago, they were holding their own senior camp. So can you talk a little bit about the senior camp and what your motivation was behind using that?
Yes. HAS rules is us as coach cannot officially start on January the 19th of this year. Well, we started a week early, and basically all we did was supervise as coaches. We just basically said, this is yours for a week, and let the seniors run the camp. I might have said a little things of this is what I would do in this and things like that, but it was fully senior-led, and it's something that develop chemistry with the teams, and you also develop your leadership skills, and that's something that we did lose last year and hopefully to gain this year with Sam and Scott coming in.
Absolutely. And so we're here with Austin Till, head coach of the Benjamin Russell soccer team. And Austin, as we said, we had Scott started on last week, and so he's coming back as a returning player or starter regular goalie. How important is that, or how important is he to the team, having somebody coming back that you have some stable there?
Always the keeper is your key position. You always want to have a veteran back there because he's your vocal leader too. He sees things that I don't see as a coach, and he sees things that the defense doesn't see, and the same as the offense. So he's my vocal leader, and he's also has a tremendous leadership skills and everything like that. And then also getting a 2nd year under his belt, having more experience coming from baseball and coming into soccer, kind of getting the rust off. And this year he's actually don't even have any rust. He's ready to play. He's in.
I got you. And so a couple more questions, Austin. We'll dive into the scheme, I guess, a little bit. I know you guys last year were an extremely fast team and you attacked a lot. Is that something that you'll see from this team, or will you be a little more defensive?
Actually, this year we're going to be a little bit more defensive with our schedule as well, but I'll touch on that in a minute. But I did a little bit of different. Last year I ran a 4 flat defense with 3 midfields and 3 offense, which is 3 forwards, gives you 3 goal scorers. This year I'm running a little bit different. I'm running 3 flat across and then 5 midfielders, but 2 of them are playing more defensive, so it's playing a more defensive scheme. But it also allows me to have 2 guys up top to have that striking force up there and scoring goals.
Absolutely. And so also, Austin, this will be the year that you guys move up to 6A. This will be the first year, I guess, where you'll be in 6A under the new classification. Are there some new teams that you're looking forward to competition-wise that we didn't face last year?
Definitely. We have a new area this year. We play in Pell City and Oxford's a new area. We did play Pell City last year and beat them, I think, 8-1. So we kind of expect what to them. But Oxford's always a hit or miss team that sometimes they're very good and sometimes they're just not there. But I believe they're going to have a good team this year. I've talked to Coach McDaniel up there, and he expects good returners from coming back last year. And then, like you said, on 6A, I did a lot of 6A team scheduling this year. We play Auburn. We actually opened up the season against Mountain Brook. We play Pelham, Chelsea, Prattville, all teams. There's one that's been at state, and that's where we want to be this year. So that's what I wanted to do, is schedule the best so we can try to be the best.
Absolutely. Well, that's Austin Till, head coach of the Benjamin Russell High School soccer team. And we'll go ahead and take another break. And when we return, we'll have members of the soccer team, Cole Grogan and Chase Burton. More sports, Blitz Lake March Sports Roundup, right after this.
Thanks.
Ball in net.
Come back to y'all in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining Lake Martin Sports Roundup, brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by JR Sports Bar and Grill. We just had a great segment with head coach of the BRHS varsity soccer team, Coach Austin Till. He's expecting big things, and a lot of that will have to do with the scoring that will be done by the person to my right here, forward / midfielder. I think he told me, Cole Grogan. Cole, thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Well, Cole, before we jump into this year's soccer season, I want to do a little recap. I know it's a little late, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on the previous football season. I know you guys didn't really go as far as you would have liked, but successful nonetheless. What were your thoughts on the last season and some expectations going for next year?
Well, Spanish Fort, they were a tough team, but I think we can get past them if we just, Coach Warren, he talks about parallel squats a lot, but if we just do what we got to do, we'll do it.
Gotcha. Well, we'll go ahead and transition into your sport now for the spring, and that's soccer. And I know you guys had a very successful season last year, not as far as you would have liked in the first round, but you had a great successful season. Can you give your thoughts on last year's season, kind of as a whole?
Team that won it, we played them in the first round. They beat us, but they won it. We should have beat them, I think, but they were a good team, but we should have went farther than we did.
Well, as someone who will have to carry a lot of the load scoring wise, what are some expectations you have for yourself, not only for the team but individually as well?
Well, I want to go to college, but I want at least like 30 goals, 20 assists. I'm just trying to help the team get better, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. And so I know you talked about it. This will be your third year playing on the varsity level. And as an eighth grader, you were more of a scorer, I think, breaking the single season record or close to it for Benjamin Russell as an eighth grader. And then last year you come back and you were more somebody who was on the assist side. So which do you prefer? Obviously, I know you like scoring goals, but you looked pretty good at as an assister last year.
As long as I'm helping, I'll do whatever they got to do to put a ring on my finger.
Got you, absolutely. And so you guys will be moving up to 6A this season, and so competition will be a little more steep. What has Coach Steele talked about as you guys prepare for some stiffer competition?
We actually, our season's going to be way tougher because we're playing first game in Mountain Brook. But we've got a lot of 7A teams we're playing this year before we make it to the playoffs, because last year he was talking about we weren't good enough and we played all these terrible teams and we weren't ready for the playoffs. So we should be ready since we're playing all these good teams.
And how does that elevate your play? Obviously, when you're playing some steep competition, you want to elevate your play. But what does it do for you in particular when you're playing a big time opponent?
It just helps us all around. The defense, it helps them. It helps the offense. They score, but I think if we play better competition, then we'll be better.
Absolutely. Well, that's Cole Grogan, somebody that the Benjamin Russell Wildcat soccer team will be relying heavily on this year to help score some goals. And Cole, good luck this season, and good luck to you and the rest of the team.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and take another break, and when we return, we'll have Chase Burton up here to discuss a little more about the soccer team. More Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
Times change, but what Alabama banks on. the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration.
Come back to y'all in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, live here on location at JR Sports Bar and Grill. 256-329-2328 is the number to dial in. They'll take care of any of your delivery needs, as well as you can come up here and get something of your own. Tomorrow will be the $5 snack finger basket, and you can come up here, and that's every Wednesday. But right now, we want to welcome in another member of the soccer team of Benjamin Russell, and that is Chase Burton. Chase, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, Chase, I'll start the same way I did with Cole. I know we're a little past football right now, but I want to get your thoughts on last season and how you guys finished up and what you guys are looking forward to do next season.
Believe it or not, I feel like we came up a little bit shorter than we should have for this past football season. Like, we underachieved a lot of people's expectations, but our expectations were higher than the general public. We feel like we didn't play to our standards in that last game, that Spanish 4 game. We feel like we should have still been playing afterwards, because I left that game purely thinking, we were the better team. Our defense just had an off night. And, if you don't come with it every night, then that's what happened.
And that's the confidence that you want to have. And so I know Coach Horn will have you guys ready for next year. But we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about your spring sport you're participating in, and that's soccer. Last year you had a pretty successful season. You didn't make it as far as you would have liked, obviously, but have some guys returning that I think will be good contributors for you. So what are your expectations for the team as you guys get ready for another season?
I'm going to make a bold statement right now, state championship or bust. That's how I feel.
That's how it should be, and I know Coach Austin Till will appreciate that. I know you're somebody who will be on the defensive side of the ball. So what do you enjoy about being on the defensive side?
Being able to be physical. People have a misconception about soccer, like we're just playing kickball, but I promise you it's not that. I thought the same thing for a long time. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot that goes into it, a lot of hard work. The same things that you're doing in football, the same work that you're putting in can apply to soccer. The soccer field and the football field, they translate well with each other. And
that's what I wanted to ask you. How do you think your skill set from a football perspective helps you on the soccer side?
And it's parallel. Like they help equally in both ways. When I go back to the football field, I can see how much my footwork has improved from the soccer field. When I step back on the soccer field, I can see how much my physicality from football helps me on the soccer field. And that's always an upper hand on somebody. Whenever you have the chance to get the advantage, you need to take it, and whatever it is.
Well, Coach Till will be in his second season as the head coach, and last year, as I said, he had a pretty successful season, taking in the footsteps of his dad. But now, second year, he's really taking it his own. What can you tell the difference in this season and last? As for him as a coach, that is.
Coaches, he's owning this thing. He's making it his own. Last year, he had to make the transition because people usually say he was using another coach's players basically. He had a class that had been under Coach Till and Coach Keeson for so long, but now, this is his thing. He's conducting this train. He's running the show. So it's different to see how he wants things done, and it's not much of a difference, being father and son. But, with him being closer to our age, you can see that he expects a certain amount out of us and knows what he ought to be getting out of us. And if you don't get that out of you, then he expects a little bit more.
Yeah, and he talked about chemistry and leadership. And when we had Scott and Sam on last week or a couple weeks ago, they talked about how gelled this team was. Can you talk a little bit about how close you guys are and how that translates to the success you guys have had?
For the most part, I picked up in this thing in 7th grade. But for the most part, this is a team full of guys that have been playing together since before we went to school, 5-year-olds and up, and they were winning championships back then. That's what we're accustomed to. And that's what we expect to do. It's certain things that we don't even have to say. Our teammates know it before it comes out of our mouth, and they're already in spot. Moving ahead of the other competition, without having to say that thing. It's almost like telepathy, Without having to say it, it's a big advantage.
Absolutely. And so we're here with Chase Burton, a member of the BRHS soccer team. And Chase, before we let you go, I know you have something that you're working on that you'd like to promote. So here's an opportunity for you to relay this message.
All right. I'm in a school club known as Junior Leadership Lake Martin. We are promoting a run right now. It's called the Sugar Rush. It'll be a run for diabetes charities, and all the money raised will go straight towards that. It'll be April the 6th. I believe I'll have more information on that. But the set date we have right now is April 6th. If you want to know more information, contact more than likely Connie Pridgeon at Benjamin Russell. You can call the school and ask for her, or you can just contact your local high school and they'll get you to whoever you need to speak to.
Absolutely. Well, that's Chase Burton, a member of the BRHS soccer team. And as we told Cole, good luck this season, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and take another break, and when we return, we may have another special guest joining us as well. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show right after this.
Which doesn't have to be the same old fast food or
Five, four, three, two, one.
Welcome back to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show, live here in location at JR Sports Bar and Grill. Excuse me, I'm your host, Scott Hardy, and right now we want to welcome in Alabama commitment and Dable Tiger, linebacker and attendee of the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game, and the current winner of the Lake Broadcasting Alliant Bank and Sports Blitz All-Area Defensive Player of the Year, Anthony Jennings. Anthony, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. It's an honor.
Absolutely. Well, I know we were talking a little bit off the air about how crazy and exciting this process can be as a recruit. Right now, you are full-fledged with Alabama, but can you give us a little, I guess, background on how you came to choose Alabama and what that process was like?
I just love Alabama. The first time I went there, I fell in love with the campus, the coaches, the players. Alabama, it's a place where you compete, and I like to compete a lot. I'm a competitor.
Yeah, and so you're speaking about competing, and you're somebody that's playing linebacker, so the depth that position is something that they definitely could use you. Or what are they saying they'll use you on, the inside or outside?
The outside, they want me to be a efficient pass rusher. They also have me play tight end. Wherever I can go in and make an immediate impact, that's what I'm trying to do.
How much does that play into it when you're deciding what school to play to, the depth chart? Or are you more so looking where you can eventually be the big-time player, or somewhere you can immediately go in and play?
I mean, I want to go where they can get everything. I can be the best best player I can be. Like, leave it all on the field. Like every game, like all of it. They get everything out of it.
Yeah, and so Coach Nick Saban is somebody who's known as one of the best recruiters in the country, and especially in the Southeastern Conference. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like being recruited by such a high-profile coach, and being a highly touted recruit going to Alabama?
It's an honor. I thank God every day, but Coach Saban, he's a man. So he come after you doing somewhere. You can't stop that. You got to keep trying to get better and keep improving, keep him coming.
Yeah, and a lot of the success that when you talk about big-time recruits that talk about their high school days, and I know Coach Richard White has been very influential in the success that you've had. Can you talk a little bit about some of your coaches at Dadeville and how proud you are to be a Dadeville Tiger?
They're very proud of me. They support me in everything I do. I wouldn't rather go to any other school. I love Dadeville.
Absolutely. So a little over a week left in the recruiting process. And I know as we let off with, it does get a little frustrating sometimes. What is the biggest drawback, I guess, of being in the recruiting process?
I would say the having to get up and go to school like every morning, every Saturday morning, wasting your Saturday. But I mean, it's all worth it now.
Absolutely. So that's Anthony Jennings. And Anthony, before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to tell? I know we have a lot of Alabama fans out there listening. So anything you'd like to relay to the Alabama faithful?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Well, that's Anthony Jennings, our current Lake Broadcasting Alliant Bank Sports Blitz All-Area Defensive Player of the Year. We'll go ahead and take another break. And when we return, Brett and I will further talk a little bit about some things going on in the local area. More Lake Martin Sports Roundup show right after this.
Let Pest take your house or business.
Two, one.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy here with you for about, let's say, 20 more minutes, and you and Luke will have a action-packed show over on the live side, Scott. And glad to have Anthony up here tonight, and a great interview you had with him as he'll move on and play football at University of Alabama, and presented him with his Lake Martin area Sports Blitz, Alliance Bank, Kowaliga Country Player of the Year trophy here. So proud for him, and wish him nothing but the best as he moves on and plays his college football again. Another big time prospect from the Lake Martin area that's able to move on and play at a major university. And right now at Alabama and Auburn, I don't think it's any secret other than this year. When one of them, both teams missed out, it's been an Auburn or an Alabama team in the national championship game for 5 consecutive years. Tried to make it 6 this year, but didn't work out. But I don't know if we'll ever see a run like that in college football again, especially now with the playoffs and the way things are structured. But it could happen. But that I think we'll all sit down one day, the further we get away from that run by both teams, and really appreciate what happened.
Yeah, and I talked to my Bama friends a lot about it. I don't think you really fully appreciate it, both Auburn and Alabama, but especially if you're an Alabama fan. The run that has taken place since Saban has been there has been unprecedented. So I don't think till after he's gone 5-10 years down the road, after he has fully left the university, will you fully appreciate what the success that he brought there. But both teams are looking to continue that recruiting day, or National Signing Day rather, next week. So I know both teams gearing up for another strong finish. Yeah, and again, we've been blessed around here in this area to have some pretty big announcements on signing day and some signings. Benjamin Russell over the last 10 to 15 years have had some big time prospects move on. Of course, Dable obviously has had its share of big time prospects. Coosa Central with Justin Tuck and Adaius Thomas, Jamario Moon, all of them have moved on to play not only in college but professional sports. Terrell Owens. I mean, there's big names from all these schools that have moved on and had not only good college careers but good pro careers. But Anthony is a great young man, and he'll be successful wherever he ends up past Alabama. But I know that's where his mind is set right now. He'll be on the live side with you guys in about 15 minutes, and I know you and Luke will look forward to talking a little bit more in depth with him on that side, the statewide side, so everybody can get a look at Anthony and what he'll be doing. But you're right. As you come down the stretch, Scott at Alabama with the number 1 recruiting class. I mean, he's part of that number 1 recruiting class. I mean, you think about where these rankings are, and Anthony's part of that number 1 recruiting class that Nick Saban's bringing in this year. On the flip side for Auburn, they're in the top 10 in almost every recruiting service, and what they've got outstanding, waiting to get commitments from, could easily be a top 5 class. So once again, these two universities continue to set the bar, and especially at Alabama, since Nick Saban's there with recruiting anywhere in the country, not just in the state of Alabama, but nationally. These two programs being in the top 5 year in and year out, you see why these teams just keep competing for national championships. Yeah, and the fact, especially if you're Alabama, they've had some turnover on the coaching staff the last couple of weeks, and for them to still be able to rein in the guys that they have been, especially where those coaches have gone, I think it bodes well for them competing there again with Florida State, Ohio State for that 1 and 2 spot there.
256-234-6221. It's been a great night up here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. About 10 or so minutes left in the show before we sign off to get ready for Sports Blitz Live. Why don't you preview the show tonight, Scott? We've got some great guests. J.C. Sherbert's on the show, and I know there's another. We got how many more guests on? 2 more. Of course, Anthony's on.
Anthony, Allie Davidson.
Allie Davidson's on. So
it should be a really packed show. Very rarely do Luke and I get to host together, so this should
be interesting in itself.
Show, yeah.
Even without a guest. And so with you two getting up there together, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to watching it myself. And if you look at everything that we're talking about this time next week, you're going to be looking at the day before signing day. I mean, this is it. We're a week out now from signing day. Obviously, the Super Bowl is coming up this Sunday. I'd be remiss to get a little preview from you, because I won't be on the show tonight, on the Super Bowl, Seattle and New England. So much off the field talk. Not many people talking about the game itself, but as we get closer to kickoff, on Sunday, obviously the focus will be on the game itself, and it should be a really good game. And shots fired across the bow by both teams. Of course, Marshawn Lynch, only thing he can say is, I'm just here so I won't get fined. He said it 29 times today. Everybody was counting. So he stayed at the podium for 5 minutes, and everybody had enough of the silliness. So everybody moved on, and he got out of it what he wanted. And Deion Sanders just made a mockery out of it. He went over to the side finally and just started asking all these random questions. He kept saying the same thing, and he was just hysterically laughing over on the side. So I don't know if Marshawn Lynch got mad about that or what, but anyway, it'll be fun to see how it all plays out. Richard Sherman on the other side, he's been very vocal. Shots across the bow at Tom Brady, Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, the whole Patriots program. He pretty much said that they operate by a different set of rules than everybody else, and really didn't matter what happened. They could have deflated the ball all the way down and nothing would have been done to them. So that's just Richard Sherman tells it like it is.
I think that sounds like people who are bitter at the success that the Patriots
why are the Seahawks bitter? Well, they're the defending Super Bowl champions.
But I think that they would have, in their eyes, if you're the opponent that is playing the Patriots, then they got there illegally in some people's eyes because it was against the rules. So theoretically, you could have been playing the Colts instead of the Patriots. However, I don't think
they would have much rather been.
That's what I'm saying. But all in all, I think these were the two. Anyway. Yeah, I think these were the two best teams. I thought going into the year, I said Packers and Patriots, but the Packers fall short and a debacle of a fallout there, and they weren't able to hold on. I know my buddy Swole Graveman will appreciate that. He and Chad Keyston, both big Packer fans, but. I think this is the best matchup you want from a coaching perspective. You got two of the best coaches in the game. I think now Pete Carroll's success as a head coach is vilified now in the fact that he's going for a second straight Super Bowl appearance. Russell Wilson now is getting ready to get a huge payday next year, regardless of what happens here. And then you look on the other side, you have Tom Brady. Does this do something to his legacy in a negative way? If he loses this one, that's 0 for 3 since Spygate, and that's what people are going to talk about. So I think now, especially with the situation that happened with Indianapolis, I think there's more pressure on the Patriots to win this one than the Seahawks because they're an older team. They're not as young, so their window of opportunity is slimmer.
I think you nailed it on the head, and the footballs will probably inflated so much and that if somebody remotely touches them the wrong way, they'll probably explode during the game. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, it'll be the final segment of the show and get ready for Sports Blitz Live. Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show presented by JR's right after this.
Lee Marketing Group is proud to announce their recent alliance with Baker Street Advertising based in Opelika, Alabama. Now more than ever, it's important to develop a marketing plan that creates a compelling message, deploys that message, and analyzes metrics to optimize performance. LMG Baker strengthens our mission to help businesses market to their potential.
What is wrong with that boxing guy?
256-750-5951 or visit our website.
What happened? What is that?
Times change, but what Alabama banks on never changes. In good times or difficult times, people in Alabama know they can bank on community ties, common history, strong relationships, and trusted experience. That's why for over 110 years, Tallapoosa County has banked with Alliant. Log on to AlliantBank.com or come by one of our convenient locations and experience the same friendly service. Alliant, a century of banking on Alabama. Alliant Bank, a division of U.S. Ameribank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. For over 60 years, East Central Alabama has relied on Jackson Refrigeration for installation and service on all brands, including Rheem, Goodman, and York. Now we've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration. We still make your comfort our priority and expect our staff to be the most experienced, dedicated, and trained to give you the highest quality of sales and service. When choosing your heating and air company, choose our family of professionals. The all-new A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration.
With over 40 years of combined experience, SignSource is the premier sign supplier to Central Alabama. From illuminated and monument signs for your business to banners, car wraps, or political yard signs for the individual, SignSource can do it all. We specialize in designing sign concepts that get results. Contact us today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at signsourcenow.com. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
People all around the Lake Martin area have discovered that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the #1 automotive service and repair shop around.
Premium read.
Come back to y'all in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Late Martin Sports Roundup Show. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy here with about a 4-minute segment before we send you off over to the statewide TV side. And that is I wished I had a counter on that light. How many times people kick that light? It is kind of stuck out in the middle. Yeah. So I kind of give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But a big-time show. Glad to have the Benjamin Russell soccer team up here. High expectations for them heading into the season. As you talked to Coach Till and a couple of the players there that had the whole varsity team here tonight. And then, of course, Anthony Jennings will be going on to play for the University of Alabama from Davil. He'll be over on Sports Blitz Live with you guys here in just a minute. So looking forward to hearing some more from him. Allie Davidson will be on with you guys to talk some Auburn recruiting. J.C. Sherbert, National Recruiting Director, will be on the program. So everybody keep it tuned in right here, 97.5, or locked in on Charter Channel 3 or Channel 80 for Sports Blitz Live. A very exciting show tonight from 7 to 9 with you and Luke. So that in itself should be pretty exciting to hear you guys go back and forth. And this is the last Tuesday night. Of course, next Tuesday will be the eve of signing day. And a lot of information, we'll be speculating and all, but this is a huge show as far as recruits are concerned, as far as recruiting is concerned overall. So looking forward to hearing what all happens tonight on Sports Blitz Live.
Yeah, we've got some great guests, and hopefully Luke and I will be able to do it justice. But a little note there I'd like to pass along. I don't know if I can really release it yet, but all the contract terms haven't come together. But if I'm not mistaken, El Toro Freeman will be signing with in the CFL with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders there. So hopefully I talked to him yesterday, and he said that the contract status should be up in the next couple of days, so he should be moving up to play in the CFL.
Great news there for El Toro, and to be able to play Canadian football, and you never know where that leads from. I think Antonio Coleman's up there with Saskatchewan, and he knows him real well. Has talked to him back and forth. As I talked to El Toro a few weeks ago, didn't know where the status was, but glad for the update there, Scott. And we wish him nothing but the best. He's stayed true to his workout regimen and staying physically fit. And
he ran a 4.53, Brett, at the thing Sunday at the open trout, and they said they'd never had anybody. That in itself is kind of crazy to me to be 3 years removed. But hopefully things stay together for him. He can stay healthy. So, El Toro, whatever you're doing right now, hope you're drinking some milk or something to make sure that
don't break anything, don't twist anything, don't tweak anything. So we are excited, and hopefully when he signs that contract, moves on to play up there when he comes back. I want to talk to him about how it is. He did tell me, he's like, man, it's cold. He said, you think it's cold here? He said, you don't have a clue how cold it is until you go up to Canada.
Gabe McGee as well. I think we're working on doing something for him on Sunday where he's playing for a basketball team, not a club team per se, but some type of international team in Auburn. I think he's signing a contract with them on Sunday. So hopefully I think we're going to get with Justin and try to put something together with them. So a lot of moving parts going on around in the local area and our local athletes.
Excited about it, and looking forward to any of you out there that would like to highlight anything that's going on in the Lake Martin area, your youth league team, any junior high team, any kind of high school team, this is a great time of year to showcase a lot of sports, because in the spring there's a ton of sports going on, both male and female. So we'd love to have you up here as part of the program, Scott. And next week, BJ Barnett will be back up here every other week. We're talking some outdoors for a few segments. And we had a lot of people come up to us and say we're so happy to have you guys talking some outdoors again. So the last day of hunting season is Saturday. I know you're going to be right on the edge.
Be in a deer stand.
I think you'll probably be in a deer stand somewhere. But it is the last day of deer hunting season for the state of Alabama. So BJ and I will recap some things as we move into another hunting season and another preparatory season. And, of course, fishing's year-round, so it never goes out. But we'll talk some more about that. But, Scott, it's been a great show here. It's time to get on out of JR Sports Bar and Grill. You're going to head over to TV. You and Luke Robinson. We'll have Anthony Jennings on, Allie Davidson, J.C. Sherbert, possibly Andy Graham on again from Sports Call will be on the show. So we're excited about it, look forward to it, and want to thank our guest here, the Benjamin Russell soccer team, and then, of course, Anthony Jennings here from Dadeville High School, who has committed and will sign on February 4th with the University of Alabama up here at JR Sports Bar and Grill tonight. That's going to wrap it up here from JR's. We always appreciate all of you watching and listening out there. Everybody keep it tuned in. Sports Blitz Live is up next.
Community.